Nikki Ramirez, and thank you for joining us on Community Connect.
And I'm the Maestro. Welcome.
We are so excited to have our guest here today. Can you please give us your name, introduce yourself, and tell us your title?
Hello, I am Melba Pearson, also known as the Resident Legal Diva. I am an attorney. I am also the Justice Concierge. I help people navigate the criminal justice system, and I like to break complicated legal things down so that everybody can understand.
We love you to death because you come on our show all the time and just educate us and inform us. So let me ask you, there's been a lot of changes with immigration recently. So can you tell us a little bit about what's going on right now?
Ooh, well, unfortunately, we have seen a lot of chaos when it comes to immigration right now. Most recently, there was the end of TPS, temporary protected status, for over 300,000 Haitian folks, which of course really impacts our backyard of South Florida.
Yes.
And it's been one of those things where it went up to the Supreme Court, and federal courts kept trying to delay, just trying to last-ditch efforts to try and see if they can save TPS so folks don't have to leave. Nothing worked, and basically now TPS has ended. Now, just to define temporary protected status is something that is issued by the US government when a country has had something horrible happen. For instance, Haiti, we know that there was an earthquake. We know that they had a horrible hurricane. And so that allows people under temporary protected status to stay in the United States, work, make a life until it is safe for them to go back to their home country. And sometimes it never gets better. And sometimes people stay here 20, 30 years, but during that time, they're not hanging out, right? They're working, they're paying taxes, buying goods. So they're contributing to the economy. They're contributing to the beautiful tapestry that we have here, not only in South Florida, but throughout the country.
Well, that's what I can understand. They are contributing a lot to this country. They work, they pay taxes, and then they're going back to it's going to be a problem. What is our government thinking about? Explain to us a little deeply about that TPS.
Well, I can tell you right now, the government was thinking racism. Period, point blank, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is racism. When you have somebody who is campaigning for the office of president, who gets up and talks about whole countries, because I know it's a family show, I'm not going to use the cuss word, in a very derogatory way about a country and their people. When he gets up on the debate stage and talks about they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people who live there, right? He, from the jump, was making it very clear that there was a target on the backs of any of color, period, point blank. And so now he's making good on his promise. He showed us from the beginning who he was. This is not even a Maya Angelou, someone shows you who they are, but beyond of obvious what he was trying to do. You have the Haitian community that contributes over $1.5 billion when it comes to, again, just commerce and working and taxes and all of that. So that economic impact is going to be felt throughout the country in a most dire way here in South Florida, but you're going to experience that in Ohio, any other place where there's pockets. And now we're talking about the Haitians right now, but there are other groups that also are under threat, including the folks that we call the dreamers, folks who got married to somebody who is a US citizen, but their final papers aren't done yet.
Right.
They're at risk too. So this is a very wide, sweeping issue. I think a lot of people bought the rhetoric that it was only going to be those people that committed crimes. Well,
do they have a chance of stopping this? Do we have a chance?
Or is it a done deal?
It's a done deal. It went to the highest court of the land. It's a done deal. The only potential thing is if Congress comes up with some legislation that would allow them to stay in the country. And I know that the South Florida delegation in Congress has been pushing for it. But again, midterms are coming. Half of these folks are out here campaigning. I don't see it happening anytime in the next few months. I have people on both sides that would vote for this.
Right.
And, unfortunately, this has not been inclined to do anything for the people of this country.
So let me ask you, this community that we're talking about primarily right now, so I know, I just didn't answer this because I already know the answer, but it has not gotten better in Haiti, correct?
Oh, no, oh my gosh.
Okay.
I hate to say this. Haiti is uninhabitable right now. And I don't say that lightly because I mean, you have boarders who are so horrified at the amount of sexual assault that's occurring to women and young girls, more than they've ever dealt with in legit war zones. You have gangs that are running the city of Port-au-Prince. Like, people are hiding and trying to avoid the violence or getting caught in the crossfire between the government and the gangs. They don't even have a functioning government because remember, their president was assassinated not too long ago. So the country is in shambles.
So we all know the problem in Haiti. Most of the time, our country will go in and just take over the country when it knows the problem. Why can't we do that?
We do that, and it's usually problematic, right? Because again, they come in, they're not necessarily setting the folks up for success. A lot of times there's more, oh, there's oil, or there's other resources that we really want, right? We're not going in just for altruistic purposes. Who normally would go in would be like the UN. Now the UN can't, because remember what? This president says that the UN is useless and we're no longer going to contribute money. So that slashed their budget to the point that they can't do a lot of these humanitarian rescue missions that they used to be able to do. So they can't help. So, oh, by the way, the US kind of took over. Let me know how that's going.
Right.
Okay.
So I have a question. If this is affecting someone and now they have to leave, what's the next step? Is there anything at all that they can do, or do they put them on a plane? How does this work?
There are a couple ways. Number one, you can self-deport, right? It's an option. I'm not going to recommend one way or the other. It is an option. What we're seeing right now is many in the Haitian community in hiding. They're just not coming out on the street. They're not taking their kids to school. They're just staying underground in the hopes of maybe something will change. If you have the ability, I would suggest reach out to an immigration attorney. Maybe there's something about your case that could enable you to be able to stay. There might be some loopholes, or there might be some special provisions that might apply to you. So talk to an immigration attorney before you assume the worst and just automatically take yourself back. So I do want to shout out the Haitian Lawyers Association here in Florida. They're doing amazing work. Please go on their website. So don't think like, oh my God, I don't have money for an attorney, that's it, I'm done. They're doing pro bono work as well. So go to the Haitian Lawyers Association website, scroll down to the bottom, there is an email address there that you can click and reach out to folks and tell them like, listen, I need help, and they will do their best to assist you.
What can we do as a community?
As a community, listen, first off, I strongly suggest we support by our dollars, support different Haitian businesses. Because right now, their usual clientele are in hiding. So now you have all these businesses that may go out of business as a result. Also, if you know that you have a Haitian neighbor, loved one, someone in the community who's now terrified and not going out, listen, bring them food, right? Maybe offer to take their kids to school. You know, because again, to go take their kid to school because they don't know if ICE is tracking them and will jump out and take them.
I wanted to ask you about that because, you know, we're back now.
Yes.
So how does that affect, you know, our students in school? Like, can they come into the school and take the child out?
They can, and I'm not to speak either way as to whether or not that's a good idea, but I know that the superintendent of schools was very much like, your kid is safe in school, and to an extent they are, right? ICE is not going to come into the classroom. They will not. But once you get past the schoolhouse doors though, all bets are off. So govern yourself accordingly with that.
Right. That's just, so, like, this is mainly for the Haitian, or are there other communities that are dealing with this too?
There are many other communities that are dealing with this as well. The Syrians is dealing with end of TPS. I believe some other countries like Guatemala, other countries in South America who have had, again, earthquakes, civil unrest thing. So they got temporary protected status. Of course, you think about other people that are refugees who may have come from whichever country because they were persecuted because of their sexual orientation or were threatened by gangs or something along those lines, and they've come here seeking refuge. You know, their status. This is a wide sweeping thing. We're just very focused on our Haitian community because of the volume and, you know, again, the sweep it really has in our backyard.
And, you know, speaking of that, it's going to affect everybody. I know for me in the healthcare field, you know, my father, who's in rehab, and also his aide is Haitian, And there's a lot who are gonna be affected. It's not just that is just really, either you could die, right?
Mhm.
Like there's a good chance that could happen. You could be, sexually assaulted. There's a lot of things that could happen. Kids that are here who were born here, right? And now they have to go back to a country that they have no idea anything about. Too is totally different now, but of course their parents are not gonna leave their kids. So, it's a lot.
So seeing the impact at the airport, because there were a number of folks who worked at the airport who now, since they lost their status, that means they've lost their work permit. So now they don't have a job, so they're out. The healthcare industry, we have so many home healthcare aides that were Haitian. So now not only do the patients suffer, but also the people that were working and caring for them suffer. So it is just very, very sweeping.
So let me ask you this question too. Let's talk about the paperwork that you have. What are the things that you need to have in order to make sure they got everything in place? Licenses, is there other paperwork you need to have when you travel? And that's one of the things I see sometimes, that even with my friend who cuts yard, I always tell him, make sure you have your paperwork with you. Do not leave it.
Well, if you had temporary protected status, there's no paperwork that's gonna save you right now.
Really?
Yeah, because your status is terminated. So you don't, yes, you have your license, but if they run a check and figure out that.
Let me understand, when you say terminated, so that means if I had this and it terminated like a couple weeks, you said if I get stopped, they could automatically take me?
Yes.
And are they looking for people?
Well, ICE never really shares their operational plans, but it is my understanding that they have been ramping up enforcement, and that they're of course going to places where they know people who may not have status congregate, which is why so many people are staying underground. Also, you may have noticed, maybe if you go to Home Depot or something like that, you may be used to seeing clusters of people who are looking for day work. They don't do that anymore. Right? So you may see one or two kind of posted up under a tree. If a helicopter goes over and they see a crowd amassed, that they'll radio down and then come through, Many, not all, police departments in the state of Florida have what's called a 287G agreement with ICE, which means they are doing ICE's dirty work.
Wow.
Oh.
And that's like Broward County and Dade County?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Because, long story short, the governor basically forced everybody and was like, if you choose not to do it, guess what? We're gonna remove you from office. Or, there was a lot of drama, politics, and politics that occurred to make this happen. But what happens is that if a police officer stops you and you are undocumented, they can take you into custody, and then ICE can come get you from the jail. That's why people are like not seeing like what's happening on the streets in Chicago and other places where, these mass rapes, they don't have to do that. They just got to show up to, Broward County Jail or Miami-Dade County Jail, take you right from there. Just put an immigration hold on you, boom, you're not going anywhere.
What are they going to do about when it comes down to Haitian men and women that's in our services? They're
going to be out too.
Really?
Yeah. If you are not a citizen, or if you don't have like green card holders, or
what if you're married to somebody who is a citizen and you were in the process of doing the paperwork, but do you have to leave, or can you continue?
Again, I'm not going to give advice because everybody's situation is different, but I would say as a general premise, keep going down the process, right? Because if you're already in the queue, don't take yourself out of it. But there have been instances where people were reporting for their usual, check-ins and were deported from there. So everything's a risk, but that's why I say talk to an immigration attorney, because your particular situation might be different.
And the whole situation is sad, but these are families. Like, these are hardworking people. They're just trying to make a living. Their kids are settled, school starting, they have friends, and this is happening, and now they're, it's got to be extremely stressful.
I want to go back to something you said, Maestro, in terms of getting yourself in order. What's super critical right now is getting a power of attorney. So designate somebody who is a citizen to be the one, so if, heaven forbid, you're snatched up on the street and your child is at school, who's gonna get your child? Right? So you've got something in place in case something happens. Or, you get snatched up, what happens to your bank account? The government doesn't get it, But at the same token, you may have issues accessing your money from another country because again, you didn't get a bank account and infrastructure may not be what it should be. So if you have someone who has power of attorney, make sure it's somebody you trust now because they literally have the power to handle all your business.
Right.
Maybe you might give it to an attorney, maybe to your immigration attorney,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then that way they can withdraw funds and get it to you so you're not suffering in another country. So these are some of the things you should think about, sort of like the same way estate planning, like will planning,
right.
like if I pass away, this to happen, think of it the same way. Power of attorney, and if this happens, then this is what I want to happen.
I love it. So tell us one more time for our viewers, if they want to get more information, what should they do?
Reach out, first of all, to the Haitian Lawyers Association. Go on their website, and they do some pro bono work there as well. If folks want to reach to me, hit me up on socials. I'm happy to provide some of the immigration attorneys that I know. I do not handle immigration. I know enough, but not enough to, no, that's not my ministry. But I know people who are amazing at it and to connect. But I would say go to the Haitian Lawyers Association first because they've been monitoring this. They've been on the front lines of this. They've been fighting this for so long, and they would be that direct link to get you what you need in a very timely manner.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us again. I'm Nikki Ramirez.
On the Maestro, I always have play a lot of music, but we're not all about music. We're about informing our community with great information like this with Melba. I want to say thank you for coming, but please come back. This is just the beginning. And I say to our listening audience, let's keep these people in prayer, all races, all creed and color. One thing I know in life, God is totally in control of everything. We want to say thank you for listening to Community Connect.
Thank you for having me.